Hello, good evening. My name's Fiona Gill and welcome to the webinar for the Module 3 of Unit 1, which covers time management and delegation. You'll have to excuse me if my voice does start to go slightly croaky this evening. I have had a cough all week, so I might need to take a pause as well to have a drink. If we just move on again to technical specifications and arrangements. As with the previous webinars, we have the raise hand function for anybody who wants to ask a question on the panel. For example, even if it's you cannot hear me, or if there's a question about the content of the module. If you do lose connection for any reason, refer to the guidance on how to dial in via telephone. We are, as always, recording the session so that you can revisit it afterwards, and I will send the link later on this evening for you. And always do remember that Wi-Fi is a slower connection for webinars and can sometimes cause you a delay or dropout. So if at all possible, do try to go with cabled connection, internet connection. A note on questions. Please note the controls on your dashboard. Raise your hand, type a question or self-mute as needed. You can also click on view and check or uncheck the auto hide dashboard. At all times you will see the little bar on the left with a microphone symbol, the raise hand icon and a green area to show the main dashboard. There will be time for questions at the end. However, during the session, if you feel that you need to ask a question, just use the raise hand icon. Obviously, as previously, learners are muted. This is to cut back on feedback down the line, which can create a delay as well for those listening in. So carrying on. Time management and delegation. This follows on from Module 2 and links back to Module 1, Personal Effectiveness. This module will provide you with in-depth knowledge of the skills for time management and delegation. The aim is to improve your productivity and efficiency in managing your staff so that it increases your effectiveness as a manager. As with the other skills, it is important for you to reflect on your current practicing level and decide on the areas that you need to improve personally. The module will allow you to learn about key concepts contributing to personal effectiveness as a school business manager, deeper understanding of the value of time management and delegation with techniques and methods to draw upon. So first of all, let's consider time management. Mindtools.com state that it seems that there is never enough time in the day, and I think we all know that feeling. But since we all do get 24 hours in the day, why is it that some people achieve so much more with their time than others? The answer lies in good time management. As school business managers, it is crucial that we maximise our use of time so that we can effectively meet the demands of our various roles and responsibilities. In addition to our own workload planning and prioritisation, we have to manage other people's. This creates a need to be aware that time is a costly resource and needs to be used efficiently. There is no magic wand to make more time, as we're all aware, but by reflecting on how we react and what we do with our time, it is possible to review the way other demands negatively impact on our own ability to meet our own duties and responsibilities. There will have to be a commitment to change, and you will have to constantly remind yourself regularly of your action plan to ensure that you sustain the change. It is recognised that as a leader, there will be occasions when you have no alternative but to be reactive to a crisis. That is, put aside what you plan to do that day, that morning, and manage an urgent request or event within school. However, the majority of interruptions and requests are not actually urgent by definition and cut into productive time of the school business manager. Interruptions and demands of others need to be challenged or pushed back and not accepted or tolerated without question. If we do not learn to manage time and priorities, then we also risk an unbalanced home and work life. For example, taking work home at weekends to finish off. On page 9 of your Module 3, you will find the Pareto principle, which is also known as the 80-20 rule, and refers to the theory that in business 80% of output is produced by 20% of input. It means that output to input is not equal, and when applied to human activities, 20% of your efforts produces 80% of the results. This is a reminder to us that we should focus our efforts on the activities that produce the majority of results. Focusing on this outcome is the first step to time management. Covey also refers to 4 generations of time management. Generally, with the school business manager role, you would move around each generation. Sometimes there is a need to schedule events, whilst other times there is a need to enhance relationships and accomplish results. If you decide to focus on time management as your skill area within your assessment, there is a very good activity on page 10 in applying the Pareto principle and seeing what effort results in outcomes gained. This will help you to find areas and people who make demands on your time and analyse your effective use of your time. Again, on page 12, you will find the time management grid, and you will be able to complete this in relation to your own work in school. I think we can all relate to the examples on the grid, especially the one about staff asking you to do general tasks that they could or should do themselves. However, we do have to also keep in touch with the actual high importance and high urgency actions, such as funding deadlines. The grid asks us to question the importance and the urgency of tasks. So what action can we take to achieve effective time management? A common theme is self-organisation, which involves the use of diaries, lists, controlling workspace and key areas of your life. In order to decide on areas of improvement in your own time management, you may want to consider personal work patterns. That is the best time of day for you. Get to know you and work at your best time on the most demanding task. Knowledge on importance. Know your key goals, maybe write them down. Covey suggests that everyone should write down their own personal mission statement so that you can keep in mind your aims in life, both on a personal and professional basis. Need for perfection. Always remember to do as well as possible in the time available. Workaholics incur a cost in work-life balance and can be high producers, but is quality really worth the negative effect that it can have with a negative work-life balance? And ask yourself if areas such as cooperations with others are affected if you become a workaholic. So time management techniques. They're shown on page 18 of your Module 3 book. And these include plan your time in blocks of daily, weekly and monthly plans. Choose how you communicate, that is telephone, face-to-face, email. Avoid being completely driven by your diary as plans can be changed if needed and necessary. Consider your accessibility. Maybe there are certain times when you are too accessible to staff, or maybe you are not accessible enough. Do you need to make yourself available in the staff room at break times, which may then reduce ad hoc interruptions at other times of the day? Consider your base. Do you have to be in the main office, or could you relocate to a meeting room in school so that you can focus on one thing or project that you need to get completed? Do you take breaks as time to rest is essential and also provides opportunity to build relationships with other staff? thereby building an emotional bank account and providing you with views and understanding. Make the most of 10 minutes. See if you can break smaller tasks down into 10-minute slots to get them completed. Invest time for labour-saving systems by introducing systems to organise your work and files to save time in looking for information. Minimise disruptions as much as possible and ask the office for periods of no phone calls and interruptions. Reduce clutter around you and on your desk. Find somewhere quiet. Collaborate with school staff and other school business managers, as a lot of time can be saved by asking for and sharing documents, policies and procedures. This can be online or face-to-face or at network meetings. Delegate when possible and view it not just offloading, but providing opportunities for other staff to take ownership and develop. And also talk to your head teacher and other staff about your workload. You will be surprised how the majority of people will respond in a positive way, and most of them will say that they have noticed that you do have an unbalanced workload. So Module 3 will also take you through delegation and why it is so important for leaders to delegate. Delegation takes the focus off developing yourself and moves it to other people. Burns, 2002, and businessballs.com argues that delegation is the manager's most basic and important tool, and that getting it right results in successful management by concentrating on the managing, not the doing. Good delegation saves you time, develops people, grooms a successor, and motivates. Poor delegation will cause you frustration, demotivates, and confuses the other person, and ultimately fails to achieve the task or purpose itself. We all know from our budget sheets that staff are the most costly and important resource in a school, and action should be taken to make them capable and competent to fulfil roles and meet responsibilities. The advantage to you as a school business manager is that it will free up your management time to focus on longer term strategic issues and make you work in a more proactive rather than reactive way. A leader has to stop dealing with a lot of the pressing matters in front of her/him and look at direction issues, the culture building issues, the deep analysis of problems, the seizing of new opportunities by scanning the jungle. Remember Covey back in Module 1, referring to the roles of producers, managers and leaders. Delegation also upholds distribution of leadership, which is becoming more and more common in all types of schools, with increases to the middle managers. School business managers of today play a crucial role in the success of a school, and therefore we have a duty to plan for future succession within our schools and ensure that there are skilled staff who will be able to become the next generation of school business managers. Covey says that many people refuse to delegate to other people because they feel it takes too much time and effort and they could do the job better themselves. But effectively delegating to others is perhaps the single most powerful, high leverage activity there is. Transferring responsibility to other skilled and trained people enables you to give your energies to other high leverage activities. Delegation means growth, both for individuals and for organisations. There are basically two types of delegation: gopher delegation and stewardship delegation. Gopher delegation means go for this, go for that, do this, do that, and tell me when it's done. Most people who are producers have a gopher delegation paradigm. They roll up their sleeves and get the job done. If they are given a position of supervision or management, they still think like producers. They don't know how to set up a full delegation so that another person is committed to achieve the results. To put it into a realistic context, I will read you a passage from Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Covey says he was involved in a gopher delegation once when their family went water skiing. His son, who is an excellent skier, was in the water being pulled, and he was driving the boat. He handed the camera to Sandra, his wife, and asked her to take some pictures. At first he told her to be selective in her picture taking because he didn't have much film left. Then he realised that she was unfamiliar with the camera, so he became a little more specific. He told her to be sure to wait until the sun was ahead of the boat, until their son was jumping the wake or making a turn and touching his elbow. But the more he thought about his limited footage and her inexperience with the camera, the more concerned he became. He finally said, "Look, Sandra, just push the button when I tell you, okay?" And he spent the next few minutes yelling, "Take it, don't take it, don't take it." He was afraid that if he did not direct her every move, every second, it wouldn't be done right. That's true gopher delegation, one-on-one supervision of methods. Many people consistently delegate that way, and when we want something to be done in a certain professional manner, it is hard as well when we've maybe undertaken that responsibility previously to actually let go and let the other person's talents take over. But how much does it really accomplish? And how many people is it possible to supervise or manage when you have to be involved in every move they make? There's a much better way, a more effective way to delegate to other people, and it's based on a paradigm of appreciation of the self-awareness, the imagination, the conscience, and the free will of other people. Stewardship delegation is focused on results instead of methods. It gives people a choice of method and makes them responsible for results. It takes more time in the beginning, but it's time well invested. It involves clear, upfront, mutual understanding and commitment regarding expectations. For successful delegation, first you will have to look at the whole spectrum of tasks that you perform, analyse them, and decide which tasks can and should be delegated. Burns, 2002, identifies 4 key concepts in the delegation process. 1 is responsibility. That is, you are transferring the responsibility to a colleague, and therefore you need to make clear goals and timescales and the expectation that they will carry out the work to the best of their ability and complete on time. Authority. Make sure who you are delegating to will have the authority and resources to complete the task. Accountability. The colleague must realise that they are accountable for their performance, and with this they should be able to use methods and creativity that they want to, which will produce a learning experience for all involved. Trust. For them to complete the task and you to provide support. Mutual trust builds self-confidence. Jones, 2005, refers to an adapted model, and this is shown on page 35 in your Module 3. Businessballs.com provide their own logical rules and techniques to help you to delegate well, and this will help you to help your head teacher when you are being delegated a task or new responsibility. Do remember, delegation is a two-way process. So let's refer to businessballs.com's simple steps to follow if you want to get delegation right and the different levels of delegation freedom that you can offer. 1. Define the task. Confirm in your own mind that the task is suitable to be delegated. Does it meet the criteria for delegating? 2. Select the individual or team. What are your reasons for delegating to this person or team? What are they going to get out of it? What are you going to get out of it? 3. Assess ability and training needs. Is the other person or team of people capable of doing the task? Do they understand what needs to be done? If not, you can't really delegate at this stage. 4. Explain the reasons. You must explain why the job or responsibility is being delegated. and why to that person or people? What is its importance and relevance? Where does it fit in the overall scheme of things? 5. State your required results. What must be achieved, and clarify understanding by getting feedback from the other person. How will the task be measured? Make sure they know how you intend to decide that the job is being successfully completed. 6. Consider resources required. Discuss and agree what is required to get the job done. Consider people, location, premises, equipment, money available, materials, and other related activities and services. 7. Agree deadlines. When must the job be finished, or if an ongoing duty, when are the review dates? When are the reports due? And if the task is complex and has parts or stages, what are the priorities? At this point, you may need to confirm understanding with the other person of the previous points, getting ideas and interpretations. As well as showing you that the job can be done, this helps to reinforce commitment from the other person or people. Methods of checking and controlling must be agreed with the other person. Failing to agree this in advance will cause this monitoring to seem like interference or lack of trust. Support and communicate. Think about who else needs to know what's going on and inform them. Involve the other person in considering this so they can see beyond the issue at hand. Do not leave the person to inform your own peers of their new responsibility. Warn the person about any awkward matters of politics or protocol. Inform your own boss if the task is important and of sufficient profile. And 9, feedback on results. It is essential to let the person know how they are doing and whether they have achieved their aims. If not, you must review with them why things did not go to plan and deal with the problems. You must absorb the consequences of failure and pass on the credit for success. So that actually brings us to the end of the topics for Unit 1, and you have now completed the webinars for each module in Unit 1. The modules have provided you with concepts of personal effectiveness, the need for ethical conduct, and focused on the skills of communication, influence, time management, and delegation. Looking at the concepts should have given you a better understanding of the importance of personal effectiveness and provided you with ideas of how to develop yourself and your colleagues to the benefit of your school. It has also been about realising your impact on others. There has to be a self-awareness that it is not healthy for you to be the leader who has to solve everything, and that it is good for other staff to be asked, what can be done to introduce this or improve this or resolve this? So in the registration email for this webinar, I asked learners to let the group know their topic for developing personal effectiveness. Last week, both Linda and Zoe came forward and provided us with details on their choice. And this week we have Lorraine to share with us. Anybody else tonight who would like to share their thoughts, read their skill area for their assessment, I'll give you the opportunity to raise your hand after we've heard from Lorraine. So I'm just going to unmute Lorraine. Good evening, Lorraine.
Hello there.
Hi, all right. How are
Yeah,
you?
you did very well. I'm fine. You did very well considering you've had a cold and a cough.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking any minute now. You know, yeah, you can feel that tickle in the back of your throat, but yeah, thank you. So you were brave this afternoon and offered to come forward and talk to the other learners. So if you want to just go through those 3 bullet points for us, Lorraine, and then maybe we can open it up if any of the learners that are listening in think of any guidance or support that they can share with Lorraine. I'm sure Lorraine would appreciate that. So over to you, Lorraine.
Thank you.
All right.
I completed my learner planning template. Obviously decided that the aspect of personal effectiveness that would be best for me to do was going to be communication. I based that on the fact that I'm not the strongest communicator in the world, but I looked at the skills gap analysis, and I'd also gone through the competencies framework for school business managers, and every time I was weak on that part. Why I'd like to improve on communication is basically I want to learn some theories, models and concepts that will help me communicate better and become more confident and more self-aware and more able to deal with conflict and just generally talking in front of others, because I'm quite a doer rather than a speaker. I just get on with it and don't consider everybody else sometimes, so that's a bit of a failing. The sources of help and information I'm going to use to try and develop this skill is I'm obviously going to go through module 2, communication and influence, to help to guide me, and read everything that I've been given. And obviously there's a lot to read. I don't know whether anybody's noticed that, but there is a heck of a great deal to get through. I plan to demonstrate my knowledge and understanding by, again, using the different techniques and keeping my learning journal. And I've been asked by my head teacher over the next 3 years to plan a playground area, an eco area, in a part of our school playground. So I thought this would be obviously an ideal opportunity to test my communication skills, because I'm going to have to speak to lots and lots of different people and use lots and lots of different ways of communicating, from speaking to the children about what they want in the playground, to governors to get approval, to the teaching staff what they want, to outside agencies to try and get funding to help me to do it. So it's certainly going to test me. I'm just thinking, is there anything else? I don't want to go on too much. I don't want to keep everybody here all night. And hopefully I'll find out that I've been successful and improved just by looking back and seeing, has it all been successful? Have I achieved what I wanted to? Is everybody happy with how it's all gone, etc., etc. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, that was very comprehensive. Thank you for that, Lorraine. I mean,
okay.
it's also communication's quite a wide topic, isn't it? So it will give you lots of sort of information there. With regard to the reading and resources, do try to be selective. You have only got a couple of months. So, you know, if communication is the area that you want to improve on, then select your reading for that skill area. You can always revisit the other reading at a later date if there's something, you know, that you wanted to go back to and refer to. It is a course that you're going to the topics of the units interrelate, so you will refer back to different resources all through, and it is very much pitched at developing yourself as you go on through the units. So yeah, that's great. And obviously feedback from the staff will give you sort of evidence of whether they felt informed, whether it was pitched at the right level, because it sounds like you're going to have quite a wide audience maybe to talk to. Do you have to talk to the parents and pupils as well and get them engaged with the project?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously talking to maybe the school counsellors, you could go into a meeting with them and get their views as the pupil representatives. Is going to be totally different to presenting maybe to the governors about the idea of it.
Exactly.
So yeah, that one project will give you a lot to sort of consider, won't it? So that's brilliant.
It certainly will. It'll keep me out of mischief for a while.
And at least, I mean, obviously you say it's a 3-year project, but you can just do
Yeah,
about getting people involved, maybe setting up a working group that will then go on and actually deliver the project. And do remember that idea of we don't have to do it all ourselves. And that's what communication is actually about, isn't it? Is that if we don't communicate in the first place, people will just let you get on and do it. But that's not always the best way to approach it or the most efficient
it
or
certainly
effective
isn't.
way.
I'm
So,
very guilty of doing that, going off and getting on with it, getting it done, and everybody going, well done, thank you.
yeah, or
and I'm half dead at the other end.
yeah. Or even worse scenario where you think, yeah, I'll get that completed, I'll get it done. And because you haven't communicated, there's something that you overlooked, which was quite
Exactly.
crucial to the success, and you have
Yeah.
to backtrack your efforts. So, and you just think, well, maybe if I just mentioned it in a meeting, that would have come up and I could have managed it a lot more efficiently. So I'm just going
Well, I
to,
can say what I normally say is, it's your fault that happened, you never told me.
yeah.
And I am only playing, I wouldn't do that.
I'm just going to mute Julie because Julie's got her hand up. Hi, Julie. Hi, Julie. Hello, Julie.
Hello.
Hi, all right.
Oh, oh, yes. It was just to let Lorraine know that Tesco's are running a scheme, do you know, with their money from the charging 5p for carrier bags
All right.
for funding charitable groups and schools for eco, ground maintenance, to do with the environment. I don't know the timescale and things, but they've had a first round, but they will be advertising it again, do you know, for funding. And just thought that's the area she was saying about.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Did you hear that, Lorraine?
I did, thank you very, very much. I've written that down straight away.
It's worth looking into.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Julie. Have you
Okay.
decided, Julie, on your skill area, or are you still doing research and going through the modules?
At present, yeah, I am researching. I've been a bit behind, so I'm still deciding at this moment.
Right. Okay then. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing that link about Tesco's. Um, yeah, so that's great, isn't it, Lorraine? You know, there again, that's written communication, isn't it? The way you have to put maybe apply for a bid for some money towards it.
Yep,
So,
definitely one of the routes. I'll try everything.
well, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. So thank you for sharing that tonight, Lorraine. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Is there anybody else online who would like to share their skill area that they would like to develop over Unit 1? I'll just give it a couple of seconds for any brave person willing to come forward and chat. Never know what might come out of it. 3, 2, 1. No hands have gone up, so we'll go to the next slide. And this is reminders. So as discussed at the other unit webinars, you need to plan out your course of action and submit this plan to me by the 25th of February so that I can give you some feedback. I have had some plans already in, and generally people are on the right lines, so well done for that. If you are struggling, then please contact me and we can use your one-to-one tutorial to get you started. Reading the resources in the folder and maintaining a reflection log is very important because, as Lorraine said, we are very busy people as well. And sometimes, you know, the weeks fly by and it's just good to keep that separate diary, a little notebook that you can think, oh yeah, that relates to my Unit 1 skill area. So record your considerations and reasons and the outcomes, as it will provide useful guidance as you refer to areas for development throughout the whole course. So one-to-one tutorials can be scheduled for a date and time suitable for you personally. Some learners find it beneficial to have the one-to-one during their assessment time to ask questions about assessment writing and to ensure that they are on the right tracks. However, the use of the one-to-one tutorial is guided by you as the learner. I will be setting up a doodle poll with a variety of dates and times scheduled on it. So if you just have a look through and see which is your preference, and then I will get back to you to confirm. If you can put a selection of dates and times, then if there is a conflict with somebody else, I can do a schedule so that everybody gets a time and date suitable for them. You may have had a chance to see the email from this afternoon about the shared folder that I've created in Dropbox, which hopefully this is going to provide a discussion and or question and or introduction platform for you as a group. It's only basic Word documents that you can go on and edit. You do have to open them as a Word document, I found this afternoon, in order to be able to edit and then save. But you can do that within the Dropbox folder. And then once you save it, other people should be able to view your edited version when they go back into the Dropbox. That is how I'm hoping it's going to work out, but it is a bit of a trial thing that I've put together. But I just wanted you to have some type of access to be able to communicate with each other and share discussions and possibly ask each other questions. You'll have seen the group emails that have gone out as well. So by all means, collaborate with each other. If we can at least get an introductory page up on a Dropbox link, then we'll know each other's contexts and settings, which helps then if you're trying to research a different school context to yours, such as an academy, you can then maybe contact one of the other learners who's working in an academy and vice versa. And also, obviously, in the meantime, National Schools Training are working hard to get the permanent forum up and running for you as a learner group. And that should be very, very soon, because they are very aware that it should have been up and running at the start of Unit 1 for you to be able to hold discussions. So they are working on that every day. And I'm anticipating some sort of update in the very near future. So we'll leave it open for questions now. If anybody has any questions on tonight's module, anything for the future, and as always, just because this is the last webinar, you can still contact me via email. You can book your one-to-one, and that carries on right through the unit, that contact with me as the tutor. So can anybody raise hands if they have any questions from tonight's webinar? Nope, there's no hands. I'll just double check the question panel to make sure. No questions have been typed in. So thank you very much for attending tonight, and good luck with choosing your skill area. I look forward to reading everybody's action plans, and thank you and good night.